Welcome to Waltham Forest, London's first borough of culture, home to iconic individuals such as superstar David Beckham, legendary British artist William Morris, historic director and producer Alfred Hitchcock, international pop idols E17, and pioneer of modern-day transport Frederick Bremer, to name a few. But there is one sound that resonates through the forest. The sound that's travelling the world. Born and raised on our doorstep, this sound is known as grime.
They thought I was through, thought I was finished. Couldn't see light and my vision was dimming. They thought I was over, thought I got burnt. That this was a joke and the truth you should learn. My spot ain't vacant, you're fully mistaken. Fate in my hands and I'm back for the taking. Give myself ratings. Blast your face in your neck back, I ain't got patience. Back but I'm wiser.
Grime, Waltham, Forest.
So, what is grime? What do people like about it and how did it come about? We caught up with some of Grime's most iconic individuals to find out.
Grime is a music that was created from, the streets of London.
Grime was like a way of getting into the music mainly, and it come about from us just wanting to do music and like our own style, not rapping in American or scratching like American DJs in the day.
Grime is a musical art form that was, just naturally created out of this need to be heard by this new generation of people. It was a way for them to just, share their experiences of what was happening in their world, at that time.
It's primarily a genre of music that came out of the UK in the early 00s, and that sound is recognised in both the production and the style of MCing.
It's just that genre that brings everyone together. It's like revival, it's like the younger generation's revival to the older generation.
What I like about grime is the way it makes you feel, the beats, the feeling, the fact that you're able to express yourself.
Grime was always about the energy that was released in it and about how it could be positive or negative, but it was always about just a release.
It's transitioned from bedroom culture into this massive scene, and the whole way through it's just been authentic. And if you go to a grime night, it's probably the best experience you ever have in your life. Amazing.
Doing this from day one. Tell a man, calm down, tell a man, set go. I really don't wanna say let go. I'm a big man, but I'm not 30, and I'm still smoking the pole that's. And when I say DJ, pull up the tune like gun figures in the air like. Boy, better know for the rest of the.
A big part of the success of grime, it goes hand in hand with the success of pirate radio. And it's pirate radio that was bringing the music into the household, because the BBC wasn't playing it, Capital Radio wasn't playing it.
I'm more than the radio, so I kind of created it with others around me like Wiley, Jammer.
None of the national or commercial stations were playing it, but the kids had a desire to hear it. And that DIY mentality and ethic and that can-do mentality meant it was going to happen regardless. Like, this is what we do, this is what we love, and we're going to make it happen whether you embrace us or not.
Pirate radio was essential in the growth of grime. It was the backbone of it. That's where people, you heard people before you saw them. Do you know what I mean? I think it was a key part of it.
From us not being able to get on radio or be able to play at the event, so me starting the radio and us doing our own thing, which ended up being grime, enabled us to be DJs, MCs, producers, where other channels didn't really want to let us in at the time.
To be honest, we used to call it garage because it was garage. There was a transition between garage. We'd go to a garage rave, boys would be MCing on stage and all that kind of crazy stuff.
We would have R&B or rare groove samples, so you'd have really smooth drum and bass or jungle, or you'd have the raggery one, or you'd have the jungle MCs, which they kind of wasn't even really speaking English.
It's got implements and sounds from other genres, but it's its own identity. And I love the energy that it brings. I see people smiling. I love the fact that it brings people from all backgrounds together under one roof with the same common interest. The way people live it is a good thing as well.
Knowing the origins of grime, we now ask the question of what role Waltham Forest played in its birth.
Waltham Forest had a big influence on the emergence of grime. A lot of big artists came from Waltham Forest.
The influence was the people like Nico, Lethal B, For More Fire, Ozzy B as well, lived 10 minutes down the road, walking distance.
We was the biggest people in grime first, like Maxwell D.
We've had people like East Connection come out of Waltham Forest, Jammer.
The likes of Diesel, Dogs, Boys in the Hood.
Jammer was based in Waltham Forest, so a lot of the MCs used to come to Leytonstone to record a lot of tracks and stuff like that.
It had a hell of a lot of key figureheads operating within the borough at that time. And I mean, probably one of the most well-known would be, Jammer and Lord the Mics and the activities that were going on in the basement of that Leytonstone house. And, to many people, that was their youth club.
So Waltham Forest was just a boiling pot for not only for artists within Waltham Forest, artists from out of Waltham Forest also, i.e. Wiley, Skepta, Kano.
I think Waltham Forest has impacted grime because it's produced some of the veterans in grime, people that are still now, they have a massive influence in the genre.
There's a lot of other people like Jammer, whether that's, Sharky Major, who began in Nasty Crew but now runs Grime Originals. I guess what kind of ties a lot of these local people together is that everyone was just trying to make something out of nothing. They were trying to find ways to use the borough and the spaces within the borough just to build something out of nothing.
We were a fundamental part of its genesis, whereas Tower Hamlets, Newham, and Waltham Forest, they were the three intrinsic boroughs that really made it happen.
Even though I was from Waltham Forest, a lot of the radio stations and all the music around our age was in Tower Hamlets, in Bolton. They had all the radio knowledge at first. So when I went to college, I linked up with a guy called Genius. He owns Rinse FM. Started doing the radio and Rinse, and I started learning from them, not how to turn radio on. And then after that, I went into partnership with someone with Deja and started it from scratch. At one time, I owned half of Rinse owned half of Deja, so the stations were kind of connected. So we kind of had the game locked between us over here, and people had to come from South, North London to get heard. But East was like the dominant place, do you know what I mean?
We was pioneers in the visual side of grime, which was like the kind of emergence of, the SBTVs, the grime dailies. We were the first to ever put artists on the screen coming from the grime scene. And that inspired the whole generation of people to pick up a camera and see that it can be done. We cut out that thing of, you can't do that because it's too expensive to do. We showed that it is possible to come from Waltham Forest, to come from Leytonstone, to pick up a camera, and for everyone in the country to know your product and know your friends and the people around you. And we kind of just created our own story. That was something unique to East London and unique to Waltham Forest,
I'm ahead of you boys now, by far, I'm ahead of you boys now. No point chasing me on foot, I'm in car, I'm far, and you're getting annoyed now, I'm getting away. And I'm telling you boys that I'm a star, and it's hard when you're hearing that noise about ears. I'm about to take the game over, Ears is about to make his name.
Waltham Forest College was up the road, and a million MCs and DJs and producers, photographers all went to that college, met and created this scene called grime.
We put a sound onto grime that was like half Caribbean, half English.
About ears, cause I'm about to take the game over. Ears is about to make his name hot. And I might just enter your home. Pass me the thing, just pass me the chrome. And I make you wanna hide in Rome. When I roam the streets, I feel safe.
Our lingo, our slang was used a lot at first, so we had a big influence. Plus, the producers that was killing the scene at the beginning, like Chubby 45, Platinum 45, and those guys that made Oil for Lethal and that, they were setting the way with new music and new styles, and so I'd say Waltham Forest helped shape grime dramatically.
We have seen the circumstances that influence grime's voyage. But what is the point? And why does it matter?
Grime was important because it's ours. We own it, we did it, right? We didn't borrow it. It's not on borrowed time.
I feel it's changed so many people's lives and it's brought so many different people together. It's probably one of the most powerful genres in the world.
There's greater success for me is that normal people and people like me, Jammer and Ray, I think that saved us.
What do you think would have been, the alternative at that time?
Death or jail, if we didn't do grime. So that saved us. And anybody else that was around us that didn't take our route and come to music, they're dead or in jail or not in a good place.
So you all feel very blessed to be sat here?
Yeah. Blessed, yeah.
It's a togetherness. You feel like you can get there with your brother and your sisters and just everyone let out their emotions, grime does that for me.
What I like that it's created is opportunities for people to go and spread their wings and become whatever they want, whether it be a manager, an artist, a videographer.
We've represented the UK to the T, from north, south, east, west, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, all the other cities that was involved, Scotland, everything. It was just UK.
A journalist, an events manager, a promoter, and the list goes on. So I think it enables people to find their skill sets and to really find out who they are and what they want to do with their talent and skill and what they was put here to do, their purpose, you know.
Before us, you'd hear rappers and they would be dressed like 50 Cent, do-rags, all this stuff, rapping in American accents, do you know what I mean? And it was just a cheap rip-off of what we really liked, the American hip-hop. So when we came out and we came through, it was more relatable. We talked about the community, people talked about locations in their area. Do you know, it was too relatable to everybody growing up, like they were seeing it and living it at the same time as us, do you know what I mean?
As a 12, 13-year-old hearing grime, it genuinely shifted my whole perspective on me as an individual in the world, because I started hearing people referencing local areas, the bus routes that I would get on, whatever it was, or even cousins who would know people that are in the grime scene and stuff like that. So everything all of a sudden became a lot more real.
Considering that grime was of major importance in the UK, should the young people of Waltham Forest feel proud of what their borough achieved? And should they carry on the tradition?
I think what the young people of Waltham Forest need to recognise is that this was achieved without support. And when I say support, we couldn't go and apply for funding. We couldn't rely on businesses to support. So it's this idea of no one owes you anything in this world and no one's going to give you anything. So it's about going out and seizing the moment and looking around you at what you've got and how can you make that into something. And the journey was not an easy journey and people weren't making money, but what they were doing was making a difference.
We've come a long way from where we first started. When we first started, the major record labels, the radio stations, no one wanted to play your music. You had to do everything yourself. You had to create your own businesses. You had to work hard. You had to, do everything yourself, You had to fight to get your music on the radio.
I think grime opened a lot of doors for, in the UK, for a lot of the newer genres that have emerged since, drill, Afro bashment, I think if it wasn't for grime, maybe it wouldn't have been as easy for other genres to be as easily accepted.
We didn't have anything from the UK that was ours. Everything that we had was borrowed. UK hip-hop, because it's not UK, it's American. So you have to put a tag on it. UK garage, because it's not from Britain, it's from America. So these were borrowed music.
It's just recognising that things can be achieved outside of the parameters of the system or outside of the confines of what you think is acceptable or normal. And again, this idea that now, okay, you look at the music industry, especially with the British side of things, and you think, well, I can be anything. Hope was created.
Even last year, for the first time, I don't even know, I think it's the history, an independent label was figured on the music pie chart. Way Better Know had like 7% of the pie chart, whereas in the last 30, 40 years, it's only ever been Universal, Sony, and the rest of the majors that make up that pie chart of music.
So, what's next for grime? And what are our hopes for the future?
Future for grime is just new artists taking their approach to grime and doing it their way.
Bigger audiences, but also remaining true to the culture and the sound, and kind of finding that balance between the mainstream brands and also grassroots. Because if there's no grassroots, there is no grime.
Hopefully more girls getting into it. There seems to be a lot more talent on the rise. And for it to just become a little bit more known across the world, not just, a London thing and a UK urban thing, global.
The future of grime is wherever the UK music can take it. Grime will always evolve and will always be from the streets, and it will always be the story of London and the story of the UK.
Just thinking about more mainstream TV as well, like Lady Leisha is doing the most with her presenting and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's got big things to come.
A lot more smaller, intimate events. I'm talking 150 people, 200 people, but regular. Those people that are coming there. That's what it's for, innit? And to always win over new people to the sound and to keep this thing going. But long term, if we look at things logically, more events, more places where people know where to go and see grime, hear grime, where the new artists know where to go to be heard, that sort of thing I think would work.
Well, as long as people are still picking up cameras and filming their videos, as long as people are in the studio recording tracks, as long as people are, you know, making businesses and doing what they want to do and love, then it has no boundaries. It can go anywhere it wants to go.
I think it's going to be the staple of UK music. If not, I would say grime would never actually die. It would just go back to its core audience, which is still a mass amount of people.
The future of grime, to me, just lies in people upholding the original principles of it. If you're an MC, go and do some radio sets. If you're a DJ, make sure you can mix. If you're one of the elders, you should be looking out for the next generation and taking one or two or a few of them with you. And I think that's what's really going to help it excel.
What I think is important for the future moving forward is injecting new life into the old. We're relying on older brands, but it'll be really nice to see what's grime like in 2019. Where's that fresh take? And I think even in terms of the subject matter, we just need a bit more now.
Such an incredible story. But before we sum up, any final thoughts?
You know, you're looking at Stormzy headlining Glastonbury. He's a younger artist as well, so it shows that the progression is moving forward and great things are happening. So I just think there's only bigger and better things to come.
I think through grime, the wider world has been exposed to a part of Black British culture. And I think grime has been very influential in pop culture in recent years. You know, from fashion to slang, you know, even the actual music itself.
I just think it's amazing that, like I said, it's just a few people who've got together their ideas, have explored the ideas, and it's turned into this thing that's an actual genre. I don't think grime was known as a genre before. It was just like, what's this noise? Whereas now it's like, wow, this is a real thing. It's happening. It's amazing.
Grime will always have something, but it just won't be like in your face all the time. It will jump out and have its little time and go back under its rock, but still be doing the grime scene, jump out to the public, and that's how it goes, you know what I mean?
One thing I'd like to see, or that I think is going to be beneficial, is like the mix of everything that's tangible, so everybody here, but then with the digital as well. So I've seen people filming, which is sick, and share it, like share the fact that this is happening. The people are the power, especially when it's locals. That's why I'm saying word of mouth is very important as well. So yeah, just keep sharing, whether it's digital or tangible. Yeah, do you know what? Insta at Lemsy Artist United is doing
Everyone is looking at the UK, London and Birmingham in particular, but yeah, the whole of the UK. There's little pockets of grime scenes in every country I can see right now. It's crazy.
For me, if somebody asked me, what does London sound like to you? What does your city sound like? I'd say grime. I think being from the UK, you know, I feel like grime is, you know, it's mine. It belongs to me, you know, it belongs to us.
So, you know, it's about sharing your stories, connectivity, and the opportunity to grow something from nothing.
Grime is a lifestyle, a passion, and a culture for every Londoner to brandish with pride. Residents of Waltham Forest should be proud, knowing the fundamental contributions their borough made to a life-changing and now global genre of music. We must nurture this movement, continue to produce icons, and make history forever, because we are the essence of grime, and grime is the essence of Waltham Forest.
I come with the flow that's so better. Done dealing with a bad man, I'm better. I got an attitude that's way too better. My buzz of life like I'm at a rap harder. You know whether MC getting me in a butter. Understand I'm mad, they nobody man, they ain't walk to my shoes, I don't mean in my manner. Some man are two, some man are spanner. Some gal are good, some gal are gutter. Some are bar leaders, some are just follow. Rock up the mic, me the man, them holler. You see my face in the picture, no ton up. 10 times 100 in a bunner. Reading in my eye like a real dandana. I don't mix with them, I don't speak to Hannah. I don't speak to Katie, I don't speak to Anna. I got bars for days, man, I just got bars for big. Hold on to the bars, you need the safe. Fresh blood in the game, I bring the rain. Just bars in your brain, I'm not the same. Got bars for days, just to mash up your brain. Watch them, watch me finna go. I come from back up the mic and show. I got bars back to back in head to toe. Bars back to back in head to toe. I got bars back to back in head to toe. Bars back to back in head to toe. Watch them, watch me finna go. I come from back up the mic and show. Bars back to back in head to toe. Bars back to back in head to. I come from the dark family. In the darkness straight like a bad man. Open a black hole when I go eat like a orangutan. Spitting like this, I'm a hanger dan. Killing gal murk like a dapper dan. When I'm back, me I move like a manadan. I've got the goods, I don't need to blag a man. I mix it up like an anagram. You're a fan of him, I ain't a fan of man. I'm different. I wanna